no institution in this country is doing the 133 jobs. We want to really see the measurables. We want to see the institutions they mentioned that they are doing. How many people did they recruit from those institutions? For us to know that indeed there is a 133 jobs. There is no two shifts even going on anywhere within this country to talk about 133 jobs. So yes, we expect the president to come as usual to say all these things, but the minority will really deliver the real state of the economy. But Ghanaians also sitting everywhere know the real state of their economy.
Okay, all right. I'll come back to you again, but let me have the Matthias as well.
Thank you, my brother. And let me use the opportunity to say good morning to our cherished viewers, especially all the people watching us from the Volta region and the youth of the NDC. Good morning. Indeed, His Excellency the President will be addressing the nation today on the state of affairs of our country. And much like my brother Awal tries to steer clear away from figures to speak to practical terms, it is worthy also to perhaps go on the same paradigm that whilst His Excellency the President is addressing the nation, about 6 constituencies spanning from Ketu South to Ho Central, I will be gracious to him this morning as he addressed them on the issues of Big Push, because the intercity highway that connects the heart of the regional capital to Aflau, the most important business place in the region, has been in a terrible shape for the past decade. But thanks to the launch of the Big Push, sections of that road is now receiving asphalt. And I think the road has been divided into 7 lots, and work is progressing steadily. And for us, it will not be a matter of policy direction, but a practical steps taken by His Excellency to give material meaning to the Big Push, which I believe that he will mention because it's a very important part of his policy direction for this country, to elevate our infrastructure situation. Our road networks are in a terrible shape, and to plan to spend 32 billion every 2 years to change this narrative and the story. Coming from the Volta region, I'm here as his first witness, and any other person who can lay credence to the fact that work is progressing there. Yes, as a youth leader, what matters most to us is about putting body and soul together, and also having the necessary conducive environment to more or less live up to the potential that God has given to us. So last weekend, I was at the St. Francis College of Education to actually undertake a handing over ceremony from our NDC Youth Wing on campus. And it was so beautiful to see a whole new class of students clad in red. And they were new students. And when I asked them to tell me one policy thing that the NDC has done that benefited them, they pointed to the no fee stress policy, which I believe President Mahama will talk about today. Maybe there are bigger things that he may not even mention that. And what that means is that for every young Ghanaian over the period who gets admission this year into any public tertiary institution, your academic user fees, I mean your very first fees that has always been the headache of majority of the ordinary Ghanaian, has been paid for freely by the state. And the most important and beautiful aspect of it are enough safeguards through the student loan plus that even in the event of after your first CF, if you cannot pay, the state have the means to help you to be able to complete your tertiary education without a hiccup. And I think that is a major thing for a young Ghanaian who is trying to acquire the requisite skill sets through education. And for the person living with disabilities who equally want to achieve skill sets by going to tertiary institutions to learn. The good news through President Mahama's policy direction for this country is that from your first year to the very place you are ending, government of Ghana is paying all your fees and you go to school absolutely for free. So you don't have to be at the beck and call of any corrupt politician who steals state money and want to be a philanthropist to pay your fees. But through the deliberate government policies, students and the young Ghanaians have been empowered in this drive. And we do know what carries this nation about is our workforce. The workforce is about equipping the next generation of Ghanaian people to have the requisite skills in carpentry, about tailoring, about fashion. My brother is wearing the beautiful fugu here, so we want to train more young Ghanaians about how to weave this fugu and perhaps to scale up production so we can export to Zambia and anywhere else. And through the Ejuma Rap program, about 10,000 young Ghanaian people at various stages of training to more or less scale up their entrepreneurial drives through technical assistance and financial incentives to either improve on what they're already doing or to start afresh altogether. Then you have the artisanal class who want to learn scaffolding, to learn tiling, to learn how to build. And last year, my deputy regional youth organizer, Johnson Samlafo, a very hardworking young guy, as of last night, as I speak to you, is in Ho. Last year, we matriculated about 2,700 young Ghanaians into artisanal, that is a national apprenticeship program under the National Youth Authority.
Okay. In the Volta region.
In the Volta region. I'm just talking about the Volta region. Yeah. And this is under the Ministry of the...
And all these people have jobs already. They are already integrated into the system? Or
no, we matriculated them
okay.
To about 500 artisans, master craftsmen.
So how long are they staying? Are they doing this?
It ranges between 9 months to about 2 years, depending on the skill set. Whatever you are doing, right. Yes. And as I speak to you, my deputy, Johnson Samlafo, is distributing industrial machines. I mean, we promise not just to sign contract and pay for you to learn, but the tools that you need as a young Ghanaian to be able to learn the craft and transition straight into a productive citizen, to work, to expand the economy, to pay your tax, so that this country can be a better place.
So you bought equipment for them as well?
They are being distributed right now, so to speak. So much like my brother talked about the Ejuma Rap program, now that people are being trained, yes, people ought to be trained because state money, the NDC approach statehood in a very different light to what our brothers have done, that sees state money as something they can appropriate and then dispense off and then push the debt on the nation. No, we believe that if you are spending state money, it has to be put into a very productive way so that tomorrow when the dividends are coming, you know that, yes, this is money well spent. So the Juma Rap program, those who are benefiting have to be trained. And we have to make sure that when money is given to you, there's a proper audit, there's a proper supervision to ensure that that job you want to create, that business you want to create, that business come to light and doesn't just change you, but your society. And that is Ghana. And these are the beautiful stories that even as President Mahama is preparing to address the nation, those that it is impacting positively, they know and they can attest to. And as a youth leader, we live it, and I know it, and I've seen it, and I feel it. Are you getting me? So these are one of the beautiful things. And of course, the energy sector. Today, if President Mahama have his ways, he will be thanking very young enterprising Ghanaians like, say, Mr. Apache Awono from the Bulk Energy Storage Transportation Limited Company. Don't forget that from where we sit, but at the time we took office, this country was programmed by our friends who left office in a way to have energy crisis in the next 48 hours by way of this country going dark because...
They said that's not how they left the energy sector.
That is...
Even the minister had to backtrack.
That was...
enough to cater for us.
But today, the young person like Apache Awono sitting at boss is working around the clock to ensure that there's a strategic reserve of fuel for this country. And through the MPA zonalization policy, that we ensure that there's adequate fuel storage in every corner of this country, that somebody in Zebila, somebody in Boku can buy fuel at the same cost as it is in Accra.
It has always been the same.
And we will have to thank somebody like lawyer Edwiji Tamaklo, a very young and enterprising lawyer who has marveled a lot of people because of the austerity and the seriousness that he has brought to ensure that the price of fuel is not only stable, but it's even coming down. Are you getting me?
Yes,
you know, these are the things that you want us to perhaps our friends will want to push under the carpet, but they are very important because they are what carries this nation. They are what guarantees you that with the salary you have, you can plan about how much you spend on fuel, because there's somebody working around the clock to ensure that there's not only stability, but the price regime is fairly priced in a way that will guarantee that your money, you can spend it in a way that benefits you. So the energy sector, we're on a solid ground. And the President Mahama should be speaking to that as well. And then we're talking about health. Health is wealth. You know, proud to, up to somewhere around December 2024, it is practically, it's a trite knowledge that even if you go to the basic of the health facilities, who should be able to accept the National Health Insurance Card, they will basically tell you, if they can give you paracetamol, they'll give you a prescription to go and buy. And look at the quantum of money President Mahama is pumping into the National Health Insurance Authority, just to ensure that as a social democrat, as we are as a political party that birthed this fourth Republican Constitution, that there's absolute safeguard for the vulnerable. That when you go to the hospital, in an emergency of any kind, at least consultation is free, at least basic medications to stabilize you can be provided upfront. That this year alone, NHIA is receiving over 9-something billion Ghana cedis. That is a massive investment in the health sector. And my brother, I want to talk politicized issues of whether we promise that we are not able to absorb people, in the health sector. You know, the mischief. The MPP, our friends, for me, that is one of the drawbacks of a democracy. I think that they are just accustomed to playing mischief. You've been in power for 8 solid years, and you left these badges, about 4 different badges of these people sitting at home. You've not employed them. When you lost power, on the year when you are losing power, you become desperate like Pharaoh, who took all actions to prevent the Israelites from escaping and then drowned his chariots in the Red Sea. Then you went about burdening the economy by employing people left, right, center with that absolute regard to whether the economy can take in them, forgetting that for the 8 years you have borrowed 720 billion Ghana cedis, for which reason you cannot even show us how that money was spent. That is why where I sit here today, if there's any call that I ascribe to, if there's any call from civil society, from the media, from the ordinary Ghanaian people, even from the heartlands of the cocoa industry, that the NDC is not yet doing to the best of its abilities is to hold the feet of our former duty bearers to the fire of accountability, to ensure that those who mess up this economy, who should have done better, that we should not be spending 32 billion today, every 2 years from now to rebuild our roads. Those who destroy the cocoa sector, turn cocoa sector into a road construction company, to burden money you don't have, to burden the cocoa sector with over $26 billion, billion cedis, in contrast that you awarded to your cronies like Chama Wontumi, who took cocoa money and never constructed those roads. You mess up the place, and when the sector is in crisis, they are walking free. And now are championing, and they are running Yes,
take them on.
We do have the power, and that is why I am calling on you, the media, to be on the neck of this government to ensure that we believe that Ora must see the light of day.
And the media has pushed.
Yes.
Every now and then.
Yes.
What is Oral doing?
So let's
what
not,
are we seeing Oral doing?
So let's not.
How much do you want the media to push this again after everything that the media has questions that we've been asking?
Because it's so disheartening when you see the likes of Dr. Randy Abbey sitting at a cocoa board there, with his team doing the heavy lifting to correct all the wrongs that you have done, the mess you have created. Then suddenly they spend the entire year hoping that there could be one scandal. But you have a president that has come to office and said that, look, telling his appointees that if you joke and you break one single law and you are caught up in any trap, you're on your own. And everybody diligently serving at his behest. did so well that for a whole year, there was not a single scandal. Then now they begin to hunt for frivolous things. And things for which they should be dancing in court, they turn around now to hang it on the neck of the enemy, of the NDC. That, the cocoa sector, you have messed it up. As if we priced the cocoa price in the international market. We didn't price the cocoa. We promised the Ghanaian people that as much as possible, the highest percentage of the cocoa dividends will be given to you. Are you getting me? And now we projected and then fixed the price. Suddenly there's a slump in the international market. When the buyer knows that now, instead of buying $6,000 to $400, I can buy $4,200 in South America. Where will he come and bring his money here? And we know this crisis. So now you go and ask your members to come and be demonstrating on behalf of the cocoa farmer, who through a credible research said that we understand what is happening, and we don't. All that we want is that those who cause the mess hold their feet to the fire of accountability. And that is why I am asking you.
And many
and you say, President Mahama.
In fact, yesterday, one of the cocoa farmers in one of the towns was speaking.
Yes.
To Conrad was asking.
Yes.
We're not going to take anything you are telling us unless those you said have done A, B, C, D.
Thank you.
Could be focused.
Exactly. So I'm here joining my hands strongly with that cocoa farmer. That we know. Don't forget that it gets to a point in this country that virtually every day, hardly did we finish talking about one scandal before another one unfolds. So I know that the investigative and the prosecutorial arms or organs of our state are really overburdened with concomitant crimes that they have to investigate. But at least for the important ones like the cocoa sector, like the energy sector, like the ECG, the mess, we want to see people. Ghanaians want to see people going to court. Ghanaians want to see people arraigned and the charges leveled against them made public. Ghanaians want to see acceleration of the establishment of the public tribunals. Okay, because something clearly have to be done to ensure that there's no one group of Ghanaians that will feel that they have a license to misgovern, and when they have the opportunity, and suddenly they can make a U-turn to accuse the innocent of the crimes they have committed. Because we have been here before. People like Katie Hammond, who is on record to have sold GNPC drill ship like Chichinga, because a certain decision was made not to prosecute over 100 Kufu appointees, suddenly those people became anti-corruption crusaders that unfairly targeted the NDC and branded us as corrupt, when that was not the case. Are you getting me? So, so if there's anything today, this country is on a better trajectory, policy-wise, economic-wise. There's a peace of mind. The peace and security of a country is supreme, apart from pockets of issues that we have to deal with. The policy issues about
you. Best security right now with some of the things that are happening with our neighboring countries. You think
that is how, that is
the minority is calling on you making another substantive defense minister, which the president hasn't done.
The defense minister doesn't clock the guns for our soldiers to protect our borders. The defense minister.
That's one of
the defense minister. The defense.
Scrap the ministry.
You can't leave.
It is like I said. Our brothers are just finding every means to discredit the government. My brother, the security of our state is in safe hands. Who is the Commander-in-Chief of Ghana Armed Forces and President of the Republic? It's John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency. He's in office. He's alive and kicking. He has a deputy. As we
That's
speak,
enough.
Hold on. We have a credible Deputy Minister of Defense who is in charge of day-to-day running of the place. If you want to talk about the Defense Ministry, if you want to talk about the needs of our defense ministry today, perhaps there are more of issues of procurement. You want to talk about retooling, re-equipping, something they didn't do in 8 years when they have burdened this country with 720 billion in borrowed monies that they expend recklessly and left. So who will be the best person? They left a beautiful law by the time they left this office in 2024, the Financial Management Act. Not even the defense minister can go and initiate a procurement process without the finance minister. That is why the wisdom of the president, Honorable Cassiel Ato-Forson, is sitting there as acting Minister of Defense.
Okay.
Do you know why? Because proud to the unfortunate demise of Honorable Boama, Dr. Boama, there have been policy steps that are far advanced at cabinet level about how to retool our defense ministry. So don't create the impression that because some pirates would attack people at sea, it was because there's not a defense minister. No. Our security, look, you can check the sub-region. Our security architecture is fairly one of the best in the sub-region. And I can tell you that the evolving dynamics, actually every day, our security officials are on top of their job.
Okay.
Today we will get to know.
I'll come back to you
Thank
again.
you.
Let me get a while also come through. We've got a voice pop that we'll be playing as well to find out what the citizens are also saying in terms of SONA. But let me have your take.
Yes, I'm even surprised that my brother is talking about something that happened some years, that they brought in someone called Sole Commissioner to bastardize people and destroy the characters of people without doing a successful prosecution. K.T. Hammond was never indicted for anything. That's the reason you couldn't send him to court. And this lie that they have been peddling over time, that there was a decision not to prosecute Kufuor appointees, is a palpable lie. 13 former appointees went through court and won the cases. Asabi was arrested together with his wife at the airport. He went through the trial and won the case. You remember Tarzan and Kojo Mpieni? What happened to all these cases when you see, the NDC has the character when they are in opposition to destroy the images of people, throw in a lot of allegations, and when they are in power, they are not able to do same. He mentioned that under the Akufo-Addo government, every day there were allegations of corruption against government officials, right? In the last 1 year, how many people have you put before court? You arrested Hanan last year around April. Up to now, the trial has not started. Up to now, the trial has not even started. Ora, you mentioned over 100 cases. As we speak right now, the Attorney General is telling us that, well, the things that Okudzeto Ablakwa said, some are even gossips. They do not have any cause to even go and prosecute these people. And you still talk about these things again. I'm even surprised. Again, you see, I was at YE. When you check the previous government, the NDC government, when they were at YEA, they did something like this, the apprenticeship program and so on. They tried as much as possible to give these machines to the apprentices. They ended up leaving without getting 1 or 2 people graduating. That is the reason when we took over. What we did was that we gave them out to the master craftsmen. Before we even send someone to you, for you to train the person, you must demonstrate that indeed you have the necessary facility to train that person.
So it is after buying those machines?
Yes, it is after we bought all the machines, and after the training, we went and distributed the machines, because by then you are certified that the person has been trained.
Okay, so after the training, then we give you what?
Yes. So what he's talking about is really risky, to be very honest. I am for this, because we did 10,000 people in 2024 alone. And this is a matter of public records. It was recorded.
And this is what they are also doing in the region now, like you mentioned.
Yeah, I'm saying that.
Equipment that
what they are doing is that they are not supposed to distribute the equipment now whilst the people are engaged in training. The reason is that we have a history. I work at YE. You have a history. In 2015, you did the same. You bought machines to people and you couldn't graduate them. That was what we learned from. So in 2024, YEA did 10,000 apprentices across the country. When we did the 10,000 apprentices, we sent them to the master craftsmen. We gave them monies to the tune of, some took 50,000, some took 20,000, 30,000. Yes, per master craftsman.
To your party
purchase. Then I was in Ho to really inspect some of the welders, some of the seamstresses and so on. So we send them, they train them. Some will drop out, then there will be replacements. Then we give it to them after the training. We do after the training, within the training period, we give them 500 cedis every month for their TNT and their upkeep. We did that for the 1 year that we trained them. After that, then we distributed the equipment to them so that you know that now the person is certified and can be able to work. I'm only giving an advice to this. I'll call Osman and give him this advice, because it is not prudent to give the machines today whilst you send the person, because a lot of them will take the opportunity and drop out.
Have the machines to be able to learn.
In training for the past 6 months.
Which 6 months? When did you even launch the program?
It was last year.
Last year, what time?
Last year, around August. That's when voter
yes,
we did.
around August. Around August.
And if
around
you
August.
if you can,
around August. Around August. I'm coming.
Hold on.
You see. Right. You have a paper in. So right. I'm saying that in August when you launch it, when the finance minister went to Parliament and was presenting the media budget, the amount of money advanced to Osman Ayarga was 21 million out of the 300 million. So where did you even get the funding to even start that for 6 months? It is not true that they started it in the last 6 months.
How is it not true when the person that said that?
Something that was launched in August, it was launched by the president. Then the implementation,
the 21?
It's not possible. It's not possible. They use it.
How many people can that cater for?
I don't know. I don't know the amount of money. I don't know the amount of money. I'm saying that I don't know the amount of money they have budgeted for. You understand? You might not know the amount of money they budget for an individual, because the individual has different, and these are different apprentices where you have the tailor, you have the welder, you have others. Different. Yes. This is just a free advice to them. On fuel, Edwige Tamakule is making even the fuel more expensive now because of the floor price that he has introduced. You remember Star Oil had to pull out of COPEC to say that indeed if the government is able to take the floor price ceiling, they will be able to come to 9 cedis per liter. But now they keep on tightening. Today, they are saying that they shouldn't sell below 10 cedis per liter. This is what Edwige Tamakule has been able to do over there. And you're telling us that he's trying to help the Ghanaian. No. Star Oil, which is the second largest oil in this country, is saying that if you take out that floor price ceiling, you'll be able to do 9 cedis per liter. But you are telling him that no, do 10 cedis per liter. Again, when you look at the programs that he is talking about the Jumawura and so on, you promise, when the president was launching in April last year in Kumasi, he said that year alone, they will be able to support 10,000 businesses. 10,000. So that year, we have not really realized that 10,000 businesses. It's now that they are training some people, and they are training them to support them. So it is not really something that you can really say it's really an achievement that you can talk about. You see, Galamsey is worsening by the day. Today, River Pra and some few other, and Black Volta, the turbidity levels had gone higher, more than 300%. On the cocoa issues, I'm even surprised that he's talking about a debt. When we took over, there was a debt of $4.3 billion. You, today, you're talking about a $3-something million. We met 19 billion Ghana cedi in debt. We did not really complain about it. What we did was that we bought the cocoa between January and September. After buying the cocoa between January and September, we arrested the CEO, put him before trial. Opening, you remember? Yeah. You understand? So you came, met over 500 million, started buying we launched the 3,100 in October. You know, the cocoa season starts from October to next September. Then it starts in October again. We launched it in October. We did forward sale of 70% of the FOB. And we did forward sale of the 70% of the beans. When you took over in January, you bought the cocoa in January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, without any qualms. Within that period that you were buying, you bought 110 pickups. You bought 4 V8s within the same year.
For
Yes, for only 70 cocoa district. COCOBOD work in 70 cocoa districts. All the 70 cocoa districts have cars. But because you met money and you bought 110 pickups to augment the fleets that you have already, 4 V8s, you were able to buy cocoa between January and September without any whimper from anyone in this country. It is as a result of your indecision. And even you were able to, even in October, look at your books, the world market price and everything, to set its price of 3,600. And your indecision that you refuse to sell in Ford sale in October, November, that is what landed us to where we are now. The debt. Assuming they had constructed the road, will that affect the cocoa farmer? How can that affect the cocoa farmer? How is the debt? How is that debt affecting the cocoa, the capacity of COCOBOD to pay the cocoa farmer? You bought cocoa, you didn't sell because you think that you want to reinvent the wheel. Since we started selling cocoa doing the syndication in 1994, we do 70% forward sale. So even if in the ensuing year, you get cocoa to come down up to even $1,000 a ton, the cocoa farmer is not affected because there is a contract already that has been signed. You came and you didn't sell. You kept it and you were waiting for spot sales. And that is the crux of the issue today. After 1 year, you are now talking about there is a debt there.
So the 26 billion debts that Randy Abe spoke about are all not true.
Yeah, I'm saying after 1 year, you are not saying
the road contracts, the fuel.
The road contracts are there. We also met road contracts. We also met road contracts. We did an audit. It was Domelevo who did that audit of the road contracts when we met them. And that was one of the reasons we had to put the CEO before trial. We didn't complain. You came within 1 year, you didn't complain, bought all these things, bought new cars, bought cocoa without any costs, to the extent that you had the capacity to even increase it to 3,600. Now, after 6 months of you announcing, after 4 months or 5 months of announcing a new price, and you're not able to pay cocoa farmers, you're not talking about a debt that has no bearing. It has no bearing with the cocoa price today.
But that has also been linked to what the world market is facing right now in terms of cocoa.
That is why I'm telling you that the world market price had never been always stable. It has never.
The NPP
it goes
through
no,
the same.
Not NPP. Even first NDC under Mahama went through the same process. That it goes up and down. That is the reason.
It shouldn't significantly affect cocoa farmers.
So
that's affected them right.
The reason it shouldn't significantly affect the cocoa farmer is that even under Mahama 1, they do forward sale of the cocoa in October. So that the ensuing years, before you even go and harvest the cocoa, dry it and send it, you have sold it already. And this is what we've been doing. Mahama first year, they did the same. That is the reason Mahama first time, you never had people talking about the government is not able to pay cocoa farmers. Our entire 8 years, it has never happened since Tete Kwashi brought cocoa in this country. It has never happened that they even experience a reduction of even 1 cedi. But the cocoa price in the world market still fluctuates. It goes up and down. That's the reason we think that let's hedge 70%. Then we keep 30% for spot. So that when it gets to even around this time that we are experiencing this, you have still sold your cocoa already. You distribute her until you get to the 600,000, which is the 70% that you have done. The rest that you get, then you go on spot sale. Whether you get a higher price or a lower price, it doesn't affect the cocoa farmer. And that's the crux of the issue. Every year, they start in October, they go for monies. We said we will not even do the syndication alone. Again, so in 2024, we took money from Bank of Ghana and bought the cocoa. We sold the cocoa, kept money, over $500 million in account for you. And you took over the $500 million was in the account. That was what you used to buy cocoa between January and September without any problem. Now, your indecision and incompetence has resulted to, we have over 400,000 cocoa beans sitting in Ghana here without selling. To the extent that you are telling us Ghana's cocoa is now expensive. If you had sold it through hedging, will we be where we are today? The cocoa farmer was promised something. And when you promise the cocoa farmer, he's aware that because you have expert that will sit in October to look at all the variables to set a minimum guarantee price. The moment the person gets the minimum guarantee price, he's aware that till the end of the season, this is the amount of money he will get. You set the minimum price, the minimum guarantee price in October 3rd, and you refuse to sell and held on until the price started dipping. Even within the period, in November, the price was around 7,000, 8,000 that you could still sell and still be able to pay the 3,600. There was infighting there, and there was incompetence that they couldn't sell. Now we have the cocoa sitting. This is the first time we have our cocoa over 400,000 tons as at February sitting in Ghana because you wanted to do Jinahoje. The cocoa farmer is not interested in this. That's why we are saying that the government should bail out the cocoa farmer because it is not his doing. You came out with a charade that you want to cut the salaries of the senior staff and so on. Yeah. This has also happened. It hasn't happened because when you check the labor law, how can that be effective? As you sit here, the Ghanaian labor law protects you.
But that's what they say.
Even you as a private person, your manager or your director cannot review your salary downwards without your involvement.
What if that was done before?
It was not done. The senior staff granted the interview. The senior staff granted the interview to Omar Hene of Adom FM, your own platform. They said, Drandi should withdraw it. They will not take that because you cannot do it unanimously because it's against our labor laws. If there is any price cut, salary cut, you sit with a person and tell him, these are the prevailing situation, blah, 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 blah. And I think that we should do it. But you cannot review the person's salary to his disadvantage. This is embedded in our labor laws. So that has not happened. The most important thing is that we are saying that in order for the cocoa farmer not to sell his cocoa farm to the Galamsey, because today gold is doing so well. Gold is at the highest price in the history of the product. The best thing is that bail him out so that he will not find an incentive to be able to sell his cocoa farm or he himself getting involved in Galamsey. Because if I have my farm, I have a cocoa, and the cocoa is not yielding anything, what I will do is that I will get people to come and do the Galamsey over there, because even the cocoa farm, what they do is that a lot of them do domienche. The domienche is when you get a laborer, the person will take care of the cocoa, he takes 1%, 1/3, then you take 2/3. So today, if he gets any Galamsey and tell him that, come and mine in my place and give me 2% and take 1%, they will gladly go and do that. So that's the reason we're saying that don't do that, because we have invested heavily in this cocoa sector in the last 8 years. We had cut all the old trees and replaced them with the new ones. So when you check, almost all the places, you see that all the cocoa farms, when you check the videos, you see that almost all the cocoa farms had young small trees with high yields. Yesterday, one of the NDC apparatchiks who went and met Otukono, the Amenfi West former constituency vice chairman. This is a video that was played even on your social media platforms. He told him that the cutting of cocoa has stopped. MPP initiated that, and he is a beneficiary to the extent that his cocoa that is 4 years old today is really yielding a lot of fruits. And this government has come, and as part of the reset, they have stopped doing it. And that will affect them in 2028. So, in order not for us to fall into this, we are calling on the government to bail them out.
Okay.
Because
Matthias, I'll come back to you. Let me. No, I'll come back to you. let me speak to Prof. Professor Sairam Kowa has joined us. He's associate professor for finance, UCC School of Business. He's joined us this morning here on Zoom as well to share some thought with us. We also have some voice pop that will be playing. Some people that we've asked about what they think. about the whole SONA, and what they also want the president to be doing. But let's take a look at that. When I come back, I'll speak to Prof, and then we'll continue our conversation. Do stay.
What I expect from the president first is ECG, the bill the credit that we buy for our meters. If the meters are not good, they should order for a new meter so that they change it. And secondly, you should take a very high look at the market women. The market women, they refuse to reduce prices, whereby petrol price is down, $2 is down. Mr. President, we will plead with you. Try to send your task force to the market. What Rawlings have done it before. We see Rawlings ashing before. If they refuse, whip them or take them so that when you charge them next time, they will be afraid to do that.
Is to intensify the fight against the Garamsey. Apart from that, I will score him 80 over 100. He's on course. And again, he should check some of his appointees, because a lot of them are performing, some are underperforming.
I think the president have to sit up a little bit, because they have reduced all most of the things, but the traders especially, they are not doing their parts. They are increasing the price of their goods more. So I want the president to set up some committee to deep into those areas. I'll be very happy.
I think he should give the youth more jobs so that money will come to their hands, so that when they need something, they can buy it.
We are expecting an increasement concerning the cocoa issues. About one bag, I think at first was 3,000 something, but now it's 2,500. So we are expecting increasement.
So the increment of some of the things that have happened in this country in the last few weeks and months, especially with the complaints about the ECG and the meters and all of that, are things that people are expecting that His Excellency, the President of the Republic, will speak about. And so hopefully we get. But don't forget that the President has actually issued a probe into this very issue of the ECG. And the sector minister has also said that he's giving them 7 days to be able to resolve that problem. So let's see how that goes. But like I said, we have been joined by Professor Seyram Kowo. I want to find out a few things about what the expectation of SONA this today will be like. Prof, good morning, if you can hear me.
You are muted. I cannot hear you.
Oh, okay. Let me let my producers work on that. But I'm still talking, so if you can hear me, please let me know.
Still muted. I cannot hear.
Okay.
Anything.
All right. Let me give me a minute. Let me resolve.
You are muted.
Yes, I'm trying to resolve that. So hold on for me, please.
All right. That's fine. It's okay.
Can you hear me now, please?
I can hear you.
Great. All right. Your initial remark about what the president is about to do today would be what exactly? Maybe you could look at it from the economic point of view.
Yeah. It's good that we're having the President of the Republic of Ghana coming to tell us about the state of the nation and telling us basically what has.
Hello, Prof, are you there?
And over the years that he has taken the. Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I lost you. I lost you a bit, but it's okay now.
Okay. So I expect the president to tell us the economic situation as it is now. So he's going to tell us about the macroeconomic situation, inflation, exchange rate, the interest rate in the country. These things, we know how they have been working already. The other aspect is the current situation that we find ourselves in terms of the fisheries sector, where some fishermen have been hijacked on the high sea. Luckily, they've been brought back. So what are the security situations to protect us in the country? The cocoa sector and what has been happening, Gold Board, what they have been doing over the period. Then I expect the president to talk about the big push, the road constructions, and how they'll be able to link it up with the railway system. It might not be part of their plan, but you cannot do a big push without the railway system that we have in the country. So these are my initial thoughts.
Okay. Doc, one major issue, Prof, forgive me. One major issue would have to be the issue of sustainability in terms of how we've been able to put the economy where it is right now. The major concern about people, or maybe to a large extent the fear of people, is how do we sustain the gains that we've been able to make so far to ensure that, we don't lose it in any way. Is this something that the president will put some premium on?
Yeah, I expect the president to put some premium on that. Sustainability is very key in the economic management of the country. We can just have the gains now. If we derail on them, it will have a problem for us. Most of the gains that we have now are due to the IMF program that we have. Now, what happens when we exit the IMF program? Anytime we have the IMF program, we tend to do very well. But when we exit the program, we tend to derail on the gains that we have made simply because we go back to do things the old way. But the way this presidency have started, and they have maintained the momentum over the period, I expect the finance minister and the president telling us that they are going to ensure that there is value for money in contracts that they are awarded. The expenditure will be within budget. Revenue loopholes will be closed, and will ensure that we rake in more revenue for the country. And so what I expect the presidents to tell us is how they are going to ensure that the gains that we have made will be sustained over the period. And if we just do it because of the IMF program, and when the program is no longer available, we go back to do our own things and go to the old ways of doing things, that will not be something that we would expect. And looking at the work that is being done by the chief of staff, the pressure on the ministers to deliver, I hope they will not go back on their words.
Prof, one other thing would also be policies and execution of them. We've seen a few of them, stated in the budgets. The finance minister read them, how they intend to go about it, and all of that. Is this in the next 3 years, or maybe 2 years, if you want? Is it going to be one of the things that the government will be looking at keenly to ensure that whatever it is that we want to achieve with what we have started, we're able to do so? Because policies, become very important when, especially, you are not too sure about how your gains will look like in the coming years, especially also knowing that we have an IMF, we have to exit, now we have to start spending and all that.
Yeah, the policy implementation is very key. We have in the past have good policies, but the implementation was problematic. We rush in implementing such policies without taking careful analysis of the programs and the projects that fall under these particular programs. And so when you see the current government, let's take, for example, the Big Push agenda, the policy of 24-hour economy, you realize that aside the Big Push, which they have already started doing, the 24-hour economy was well documented, and how they want to run it, who is supposed to do it, and running it out on a pilot basis and trying to learn the lessons from it is something that is commendable. Not the issue of the one district, one factory, where we do not have a clear-cut policy on who is supposed to benefit from it and how it is going to benefit the entire citizens in the districts where these things are located. We have one district, one dam policy, one village, one dam. We don't know the head and tail of it. But this government had taken their time to analyze these things and the policies that will come in to ensure that it is properly implemented and executed. It is one thing trying to document it, is another thing trying to implement it successfully. I pray that the documentation will go with proper implementation, and there will be monitoring and evaluation that will ensure that the right things are done for these policies that we have.
Prof, before I let you go, one thing that a lot of people, in fact, give some goodwill to this current administration is the fact that they promised some sort of accountability for the people of this country in terms of the socio-economic aspect of it. You think that if some of these things are not achieved in the next year or two, that goodwill may likely diminish, or it will be strengthened in a way because they still feel that the president is achieving certain sort of economic, gains, and so they're still going to go with it, the government.
You see, we can make all the gains. We can have all the macroeconomic indicators looking good. But if the pocket of the ordinary Ghanaian is not feeling it, then we have done nothing. The people need jobs. We need increment in salaries. Our standard of living to improve. We want money to do businesses that we want. And so if we are not able to make gains in the socio-economic life of the Ghanaian, it doesn't matter whatever gains that you have made. Those gains, inflation coming down, exchange rate coming down, prices of commodities on the market, then we have the interest rates coming down, should reflect in the pocket of the ordinary Ghanaian. You and I should feel that particular one, that it is working and our cost of living has gone down. Our standard of living had improved over time. That if you go out and you are going for a transportation system, you pay monies that are lower. So if we are not able to do these things, and parents will complain about high school fees, the focus on free SHS, leaving the primary schools and then the tertiary institutions on their own problematic. And so they should balance this so that a lot more can feel it. The LEAP program should be continued. Health insurance should be continued so that people can feel that, yes, whatever gains that we are making as a country, they are feeling it as ordinary Ghanaians.
Very well. Prof, thank you so much for your time this morning here on the show. I do appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Great. And that was Professor Seyram Kowo joining us this morning, Associate Professor of Finance, UCC School of Business, and also speaking on SUNA this morning. In a couple of hours, the President will be making his way to the House of Parliament, where he'll be delivering his second State of the Nation address. And the expectations, very, very, very huge. Many people are expecting to hear a lot of things that have happened in the last 1 year since they've been in office. But we'll be trying to also get to the correspondents in the various regions to find out what they are also picking up in the various regions. And I'm guessing that we've got Ivy in the Volta region. Ivy, if you can hear me. Hello, Ivy, are you there? Okay, I'm going to see. Okay, I think we can get Ivy now. Ivy, can you hear me now? Ivy, good morning. Okay, there's difficulty there, connecting with Ivy, but we'll try and then sort that out and then see what the people of the Volta region are also saying in terms of expectations of SONA today. Let me come to you, Matthias. Whilst you're going on, maybe if we have Ivy, we'll just cross over.
Yes. My brother, Awal has made some very wild claims that I feel they need to speak to. I know, though it falls perfectly in line with their agenda to discredit the NDC government. I want to set some records straight that this whole thing to make Cocoa Board or the management of Cocoa Board look bad because they bought operational vehicles is neither here nor there. It is a tragic knowledge that, like he said, the Cocoa Board has about 75 districts.
70, that's the official from Cocoa Board.
Yes.
Get it even, send it to 80.
Exactly. 70 districts. And they have so many agencies, okay? And all these agencies are supposed to work for the benefit of the cocoa farmer. And they lack operational vehicles. So vehicles purchased for the use of the agencies in the cocoa district should not be made more or less like categorized as some kind of crime.
Why did they?
Moreover,
where did they get the money?
Moreover, see,
there was nothing in the coffers when you took over.
The money used to purchase these vehicles never came from Cocoa Board budget meant for the farmer.
Where are they from?
It is from the monies actually came from a residue fund, which is an IGF to the board.
How do they?
Which is not.
How do they get the IGF?
And that was not a monies that are.
It was not. It was not a money that is meant for the cocoa farmer. It was a residue fund that comes to the board and they use for residual things completely outside of Cocoa Board operations, I mean the field operations. But this time around, instead of even using it on themselves, they decided to use to purchase operational vehicles. My brother, I want to state clearly that it is still on record that the NPP mismanaged Cocoa Board. They left Cocoa Board in debt of over 32-point-something billion, out of which 21 billion was related to Cocoa Roads alone. It's like eventually Cocoa Board took over the work of Ghana Road and Highways, I mean the Ministry of Road and Highways, just because of procurement rigging so they could then make money. It is also on record that when in our cocoa districts, our warehouses were full of jute sacks, in order to make money from procurement rigging, NPP went ahead to spend $48 million of cocoa farmers' money to purchase cocoa sacks that are still hanging at the Tema Port.
Which they still nothing like that.
There is. Okay. Now let me talk. He talked about incompetence that, those old models that Bawumia and Co used to come to power in 2016 doesn't wash today. Okay. Let me tell you. He's talked about syndication. What my brother doesn't know is that, yes, Cocoa Board is almost 80 years. Unfortunately, in 8 years of Akufo-Addo Bawumia administration, they have undone everything that Cocoa Board has achieved in 80 years history. You remember very well that these guys went to the international market to say that they projecting that Cocoa Board will be able to harvest about 800,000 tons of cocoa. And he's talking about forward sales. And they went and projected close to 90%. And then took money for it at the tonnage price of 2,400. In the end, they could not supply over 333,000 tons of cocoa, meaning that they have failed to live up to 2023-2024. 2023-2024. So what happened is that you have failed in your contractual obligations by 333,000 tons. The following year, you are out of power. We came to inherit that. So we have an excess, okay, of 333,000. Now, just like the sovereign nation Ghana.
We didn't leave office in the 2023-2024.
Hold on. Oh, please. You said I should be writing down, and I've been writing down. So write down, okay? See, just like the sovereign nation Ghana was shut out of the international market, from Eurobond market to the syndication that we do, because of the reckless borrowing and eventual default and our inability, because we were unable to pay, Cocoa Board also fell into the same trap. And it adversely affected Cocoa Board's financing to the point that Cocoa Board could not go and take syndicated loan and put down and buy cocoa prices. So when we are talking about, instead of forward sales, he forgot to say that when they were leaving, because the syndication was no longer available to us, they now have to go into international market system. Now people will come and say, okay, we'll give you money to buy cocoa price for us. Okay. Now the conditionality they gave us is that because you signed a contract the previous year and you are owing 333,000, you must agree to supply at the same price, even though the price of cocoa at the international market has shot up. What that means is that Ghana government or Cocoa Board was forced to actually service 235,000 tons at the cost of 2,400 when the prices of the product at the international market went way up, bringing significant losses to Cocoa Board because of the reckless action you've taken.
Matthias,
now,
give me 1 minute. Let me go to Bono East. Let me engage.
But he's done already.
No, I'm not done. You have said so many things.
Hold on.
I'm not done. You have said
Anas
so many
Sabit is in Bono East correspondent. We want to find out what the people are also saying with regards to SONA. Anas, if you can hear me, good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now. Thanks for the time this morning. What are you picking up in terms of SONA? What are the people expecting to hear the president say?
Yes, so for the people of the Middle East region, I have been engaging them from yesterday on their expectations. And this is purely an agrarian region. And so a lot of the people I'm speaking with are very much concerned about the issue of agriculture. And the fact that at a region that produces a lot of food, we are still struggling to have farmers, especially because of vegetable farming, farm all year round. So we are much concerned about government speaking about measures that would, enable them all year round. And he typically mentioned education, government focusing on, providing education facilities across the region so that they'll be able to farm all year round and stop this trips to neighboring countries that we're putting up a certain mind and what happened to US recently. So majority of the people, or most of the people I'm speaking with, are concerned with agriculture and government's plans to ensure that it improves their farming businesses here in the Bono East region. Apart from that, some are also concerned about electricity and tariffs. Recently, we've seen a lot of complaints that are coming in with regards to how much people are paying compared to some period a year or two ago. So they want the president to focus on that as well, and then ensure that their tariffs are brought to the best minimum. Some are also concerned about the recent hike in oil prices. They are worried that we saw a sharp decline in terms of the cost of fuel. Recently, we are also seeing a surge in the cost of fuel. That's something they say will make their livelihood. A number of the youth have also spoken with, also concerned about unemployment. Teachers and a couple of other investigators who are still, struggling to find jobs. And so some of the people are engaged into also, state measures or indicate to them that these are the plans to tackle, unemployment. Truth are, something that's usually, popped up. Some of the rules in the region are still in terrible states, and the kind of quantity of food that is being produced, especially from the rural areas, the which government would, focus more on blocking their rules so that post-harvest losses will be a thing of the past. So these are some of the major things the people of the Bono East region, and we want the president to address. He appeared before Parliament later today.
Very well, Anas. Great job. Thanks a lot for joining us this morning again. Anas Sabit is Bono East correspondent, sharing with us what the people are looking forward to in terms of SONA today. Let me go to the Upper West, and Rafiq Salam is there. Rafiq, good morning, if you can hear me.
Good morning.
Great. Thanks for your time this morning here on the show. What are you picking? What are the people saying, the expectations of the president as he goes to the floor of parliament today to deliver the State of the Nation address?
3 issues on the minds of the people who are supposed to begin. And the first one has to do with the nature of the global road that the people are with. Yes, the president some 2 months ago, forward to begin on the starting from and then heading to Amale, and then also on the other side through and then to the upper. Remember, the upper region is not in the country. That is not linked to any capital. The people will want the government to do a quick fix on food, especially on water, solar, so that it will at least commercial activity in the region, and also how to do with water so that the people from the Central East or the Central East could connect to the capital. So that's one issue that the people to have on. Show them that those work fixed. The second issue, like that how to do employment and lots of their passing of unemployed are in the region. So they want the president of employment. There are lots of and all. So some sea of people have competed in this for some for decades. A decade they haven't gotten employment. So they like to look into this issue of employment. And then the last issue has to do with the hospital that we are having. So and there's only one district that in this region, the West East, which is without and so for that particular enclave to really come to the hospital, and then also so like government equipment at some of the yesterday we were at Ocha the challenges that they are facing. But this hospital, the work was supposed to be the best district hospital in the country. And then we are running on 5 minutes and a broken central team, which is not the best. So the people of the region want the government to have a serious of these issues. One, employment, and then
Okay. All right. Very well. Thank you very much for joining us this morning here and sharing with us. That's Rafiq Salam. Wow. Joining us this morning here on Sona. Ivy Satoje is in the Volta region. She's our Volta regional correspondent. Ivy, if you can hear me, good morning. Hello, Ivy, can you unmute so we can hear you, please? Hello, Ivy. Ivy, if you can hear me, please unmute. Okay, I think we're having difficulty with establishing connection with Ivy. We're going to try and see if we can do that. So we speak to her to also let us know what the Volta region is also looking forward to in terms of Suna today. Ivy, kindly unmute if you can hear me. Unmute so that when you talk, we can also hear you here on the show. But don't forget, Newsflash is proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise, Still Phones, Papa Pafil, Koa Natural Fruit Juice, also supporting us this morning here on the show. Don't forget also that we'll be crossing over to Safari Valley. Esiudwa has been spending some quality time over there, and she'll be sharing all the details with us here on the show. What to expect if you're making your way to that side as well as we celebrate Ghana Month. There's a lot most of us will be enjoying in terms of experiencing real nature and patronizing our very own in this country as well. So Yes, we're bringing you that also here on the show. Ivy, if you can hear me, good morning. Yes, so Ivy, I don't know why, we're finding it difficult to speak to Ivy. Ivy, we'll try and see if at the tail end of the show we can still put you on. We'll also find from you what Volta region is expecting the president to say in the State of the Nation address. So yes, wrap up quickly, and then let me go to.
Basically, what I want to say is to cure the mischief of Awal that MPP messed up Cocoa Board, but Dr. Randy Abbey and the team.
But so is the NDC doing better?
Yes, they are doing the heavy lifting. and my problem.
That's what the Ghanaians, put it there. And
so
let's not dwell. Let's just do it better.
Okay, so
that's the promise you give to Ghanaians.
So let's get this straight. The problem right now, the problem of the farmer is that the cocoa price at the international market was hovering around somewhere 12,000 USD per ton. Okay, and then so the gate farm price is priced around 6,100. Okay, now the price has crashed to about 4,000 USD, and unfortunately, we no longer have a syndication whereby you can forward sell by commit people ahead of time. You have people sitting in Germany or elsewhere who will now bring you money to buy them cocoa, and now they know that at the international market they can buy cocoa at 4,000, so they wouldn't bring their money for you to buy at 6,100 or even more than that. That is the basic problem. And I'm glad that the ordinary cocoa farmers say they understand this. The only problem they have...
But are we looking for solution?
Yes.
If they understand,
are
we looking for solution so that...
serious policy...
When you talk about external shocks...
So President Mahama...
conversation altogether.
Yeah,
the NPP went through the same thing. You attacked the NPP.
The beautiful thing is that, as far as the NDC is concerned, we'll never go back to syndication. What we want to do is for the... from 2026, 2027, a year, we want to start a whole new paradigm where about 50% minimum of cocoa beans produced in Ghana should be processed here.
So whether there's external shock or not, the cocoa farmers still get
exactly. And the pricing of cocoa will be based on the spot price at the international market level.
And that's where are
you getting me? So
you're still going to go back to the same
problem.
No, we're not going to.
What happens when the international market now starts?
It drops.
No, what it means
so
what is simply saying. I had Lawyer Janto the last time talking about us to establish a sinking fund, just like it happens like in the energy sector to cushion up.
You can always follow.
Yes, so those are beautiful discussions that can be advanced. But as it stands now, with a developing country as we are, with so many competing needs, I don't see how any of us here, or even the cocoa farmer, wouldn't understand that, okay, so you are buying this at the price of 7 Ghana cedis, and suddenly the price has dropped to 3. And then you expect that because I'm government, I must still buy at 7, when the last buyer will buy it at 3 cedis. So it is the economical scale is determined by demand and supply at the international level. But as much as possible, new policy measures are coming to ensure that we derive the very best out of our cocoa.
Okay.
To ensure that there's a new policy direction that doesn't tie the cocoa farmer here. How can you imagine that most of our cocoa processing companies here actually beg to get the beans? Because during this era of syndication, it simply means that even before the cocoa grows on its tree, you have sold it and you took the money and you must supply it. But now, with the new policy that will come eventually, we will have to, the new financing model is such that we will raise money domestically to pay for the cocoa, to ensure that there's access, at least 50% access to the local cocoa beans to our domestic companies to process, to add value. So that if we are exporting cocoa product, we should not be exporting just the beans. We should export chocolate, we should export the cocoa powder in many forms and shapes that will add value to create jobs. And just to touch on to the 24-hour economy.
No. He's spoken for like 10 minutes.
No, I spoke for 3.5 minutes.
So the question, the one who sent you the message and told you that they had some IGF, that they have used that IGF. The entire money, 100% of whatever Cocoa Board gets it from the cocoa farmer. Their primary work is to sell cocoa. So where did they get the IGF from? They got it from the cocoa farmer. So that message, the person shouldn't have even sent you that message. That is one. Two is that you are telling me that the one who took cocoa from 475 cedis per bag to 3,100 cedis has mismanaged the cocoa sector? Really? From 475 to 3,100 within 1 year, you cannot even sustain what you will bequeath to you. And you are telling me that I have mismanaged that sector. Again, cocoa roads didn't start in the last 8 years. Cocoa roads started under Kufuor. And again, it is the proceeds that Cocoa Board gets that they put into cocoa roads. I am still yet to hear anyone draw the correlation between the debt at Cocoa Board and their inability to buy cocoa today. How do you draw the correlation? You've given someone the contract to construct a road. Whether he has constructed it or not, it has no correlation whatsoever. It has no correlation whatsoever.
Well, you also believe
we are for any accountability. That's why I told you.
You also believe that it is the money of the state that goes into that project?
Yes.
So whether the person constructs it or not, there's supposed to be a problem.
Exactly. The problem is that the problem has to do with the fact that call the person to account.
Yes,
but it has nothing to do. No, it has nothing to do with buying.
Contract has been there since.
So
you don't have money.
Accountability is key.
You don't have money.
You don't have to be looking for correlation between.
So now hold on.
This person has done.
So now Cocoa Board doesn't have money.
Hold on. Cocoa Board had never raised money from their IGF to buy cocoa. We've been buying cocoa through syndication from time immemorial, from 1994. In 2024, we decided to take money from Bank of Ghana to buy the cocoa, and that was what we did. We didn't go to syndication. We took money from Bank of Ghana.
No, because it was not available to you.
We took money from Bank of Ghana in October to December and bought the cocoa. We sold it, kept the money, over 500 million, into the Ghana International Bank account. You came and met that money and used that money to buy the cocoa, the rest of the cocoa between January and September. So that's why I'm saying that Cocoa Board do not have any money sitting somewhere that they use to buy cocoa. It is their proceeds that they put it into their investment, the roads and so on. So whoever takes over will only have to do either syndication to buy the cocoa or go to Bank of Ghana and get money to buy the cocoa. Do you know that it is only Cocoa Board that has the finance minister and the Governor Bank of Ghana as board members? So why is it difficult?
This has been there since what?
Since time immemorial. It's part of the law that indeed they have to be there because they will see that these are.
Did you push it to agric ministry?
You understand?
Did you push it to agric ministry or something?
What is very important now is that the cocoa farmer, what you are even promising, it is something that you promise in your manifesto. Check your manifesto. You promise to do stabilization fund. What has happened to that? You promise that when you come, you do stabilization fund so that if it goes up and down, you'll be able to stabilize the cocoa price. You're not able to do that because you sent an incompetent person there who has not even prompted you to also fulfill that promise that you promised the cocoa farmer. The overarching issue now is that you have mismanaged the place in the last 4 months. We bequeath a healthy cocoa board to you, which enabled you to be able to buy cocoa for 7 months without any qualms. For you to be able to even buy cars for your operations.
So all this mess we're going through right now is the last 4 months.
4 months is the inactions of them. Because you see, if they have sold it through forward sale, as has been happening, I told you, the first Mahama administration under Opuni, throughout the 4 years or 3 years Opuni was there as Cocoa Board CEO, he sold the cocoa through forward selling. So around February, March, April, there are no issues of whether it has gone up or down. The person has signed a contract already that he will buy the cocoa from us and has even given advance money to us. We can only supply the cocoa. In this case, you took the money, you bought the cocoa, you did not sell, even when you decided that you do spot sales. But in November, December, when it was up around $8,000 per ton, you didn't sell. You didn't even sell it spot at that time. You were waiting for it to go up because Randy, when he took over, There is a room called the trading room, which is out of bounds for even staff of Cocoa Board. Some people had been there and have been working for over 20 years in that room. They determine when to sell and when not to sell. They have their computers and so on. You came and reset the place and transferred all of them, brought in incompetent people in that room. How do you sell? When someone who has been there for ages will advise you on what to do, whether to sell it today or tomorrow. So it is as a result of the incompetence. That's why we're saying that. You came and took over and never talked about debt, problems, mismanagement, until today that you are not able to pay the cocoa farmer. You're talking about the debt. When Cocoa Board had never raised money from their own IGF to buy cocoa. So how is it possible that you want to tell us that we have mismanaged the cocoa sector? You see, what they are even proposing is more dangerous than anything. Because the cocoa farmer, you are telling him that in October, when it comes down to around $1,000 per ton at the world market, you give him 70% FOB. 70% FOB of $1,000 in October should be around the 475 that you left off. So that portends danger. That's why we're saying that. Reinvent the wheel. Do what everyone is doing.
Sit down. Jail those who mess up Cocoa Board.
We
lock them up.
But why have we not done?
You didn't do that. When we came and saw that there was a mess there.
Done that yet?
KMJ,
because
you remember
they didn't.
When we came and saw that there was a mess. We put the man before trial.
Let's ask the Attorney General.
Let's
ask Yoko.
Let's put the man before trial.
Special Prosecutor. Let's ask Director General CID.
You're not in government. You're not in government. You're in government.
No,
you speak for government right now, and you are telling us that we should ask them. You are supposed to ask them before you come here. Ask your CEO. The one who sent you the message, ask him.
My CEO didn't send me a message.
No, I'm saying that whoever sent you the message and whoever, because before we come here, when you give us, we do a lot of checks. We call people to get information before we come here, because we don't work in those agencies.
56% of
you are now telling
the
us
price is fair.
Oh, but
only MPP members believe it's not fair.
But the 56 are on the grounds. Go to My Joy Online right now.
56%.
Go to Joy News page right now.
Global
56%.
Global Info Analytics.
Musa Dankwa has been discredited by Baba Jamal. Musa Dankwa has been discredited by Baba Jamal.
56%.
He's not a credible person according to Baba Jamal. Baba Jamal said, you show proof to the people of this country that Musa Dankwa is not credible. And today Musa Dankwa is running away from our post.
Let me do some messages.
Who told you that?
I'll come back.
He has not.
This one says, good morning. I'll come back. This one says, good morning, KMJ. I like Awal and how he disapproves these new NDC communicators flooding our screens. Cephas Logic, Newtown Healthcare Center, that one. Okay. This one over here says that Awal in any show is always a mistake. Good morning, KMJ. Master Rahman, Solar Tuna Calva Center, that one. Let me go to Mohammed Hamza. Hamza in Pig Farm says, good morning, my brother. Truth be told, I don't know why some journalists in this country keep on asking the government in power to fulfill the promise they made to farmers when they were in opposition. I don't think this is fair to government. Government only made those promises at a time based on the world market price. As we speak now, the world market price has been reduced drastically. So how can someone be calling government to pay the cocoa farmers based on the promise they made? Let's be fair to ourselves in this country, my brother. If anyone could shortchange cocoa farmers in this country, certainly would not be President Mahama. But I'm happy auditing is going on at the Cocoa Board for us to see what went wrong there. Must start to roll. Okay. Alasan Zenu Central says, my expectation of the president 2026 sooner is for him to tell us how successful the operation all loot is and the assurance that corruption is really being fought because his attorney general is gradually becoming disappointment to those of us who voted for him to prosecute the former appointees who were alleged to have been corrupted. In fact, so far, the Attorney General is not up to the task and will surely bring the government down. The president should be telling us how they are going to sustain the gains made so far, and we commend him and his government for the economic gains so far. Regards to Honorable MP Joti. All right, let me go to Michael from Springtex, and he says that, good morning, KMJ and panelists. I have agreed with Awal on the issue of when a political party is in opposition, they try to lament and find fault on the ruling party. What I can say is all because politicians are not telling Ghanaians the truth in this country. That is why our system is running in this way. Politicians should be brave to tell Ghanaians what they can do and what they cannot do whenever they are coming for power. The truth is so always painful, but up to time Ghanaians would endure that painful truth, which will end, even reduce vote buying. There's a new sheriff in town, President Mahama, who wants to change the narrative, and we all need to support him and stop the propaganda that would hold the country backwards. Thanks. So you are telling me if a politician comes and tells you that if I can't do this for you, I cannot do this for you, I cannot do this for you, but this one I can do for you, you vote for that person. That's simply the message right now. Like he's telling you the truth. That you say you want this cap, I can't give you this cap. You want this, I can't give it to you. You want this, I can't, but this one I can give you. You look at the politician's face and say, you can't give me all these three things, but you can give me only this. But I'll still vote for you. You. Okay.
No, you see, that is what we should.
What are you saying?
That is why we should get to. That is why we should get into.
President Bush said, better a broken promise than none at all.
Yes, but
that's why we will promise them.
It's your scheme. It's your scheme. Promise and overpromise.
First of all,
His Excellency John Dramani
Mahama, he's doing the Lord's work. Awal, listen, they are talking to you. Good morning to my brother Awal Mohammed. He's doing the Lord's work. I don't expect any new thing from this 2026 sooner. That will be addressed by Mr. John Dramani Mahama. It will be his usual propaganda rhetorics. He shouldn't lie that their beautiful haircut is better than the 3,200 that the NPP paid to cocoa farmers. He should also tell us that he's going to rename Ghana as he has lately been known for. Anyway, special greetings to Adrian Kessie John Boedu. Okay, this one says that please ask Awal to tell Akufo-Addo Bawumia to pay the DDEP.
Dr. Forsen is now busy.
Good morning to you, Awal, my honorable comrade Kabila. The cocoa sector challenges in Ghana did not start today. Those who manage the sector under the new patriotic party NPP are now criticizing the current government. Yet allegations of financial mismanagement, including expensive procurement of items like computer accessories that cost 6,000 Ghana cedis per mouse. I remember that very well. And cocoa sacks were raised during their time in office at the Ghana Cocoa Board. Now, cocoa price reductions are not done arbitrarily. They usually happen because of falling world market cocoa prices, a weak Ghana cities, financial challenges and debts within the cocoa sector, rising production and subsidy costs. Therefore, cocoa price reduction is largely influenced by economic and global market conditions, not simply political decisions. Anybody or party that is accusing government must reorganize themselves, accept that they caused the problem, and then we can have a dialogue. Until then, they are out of the league to comment. They can't be holier than the Pope. Sicho from Akpafu Guan constituency, NDC branch organizer. Okay. Master Planner's message is here. Let me see. And it says, the state of the nation currently is more than a crime scene. In fact, it is now a horror movie full of insecurity, high unemployment, and hungry youth. Cocoa farmers are crying, yet their electricity and water bills are up. Teacher trainees have been deceived of automatic posting, yet they are still sitting at home. Nurses worked for over 12 months, but paid for only 1 month. Our gold reserve has become empty, yet nothing to show. This government is clueless and heartless. Ghanaians are watching closely. We are those calling for President Mahama's third term. Why have they stopped hypocrisy and dishonesty? All right. So that's all we have for the messages this morning. And we're going to be moving. Akosi Gariba from Tamale says, good morning, KMJ. My regards to My questions to President Mahama Sona are: where is the health scheme you promised the cocoa farmers with their wives and children? Where is the 500 Ghana cedis per bag of cocoa you promised to cocoa farmers in Ghana? Where is the boreholes and the polytanks you promised? Where is the housing scheme you promised? And finally, who is a liar in Ghana? Okay.
Someone who promised all these things and never.
Okay. That will be our conversation this morning. Unfortunately, our time is up. I think we've done to 8:30 today. We have tried.
Just propaganda. I watched your correspondent Rafiq Salam, from WA, and you see, I know that definitely Rafiq Salam will not be able to finish his. And even begin his own report by not talking about the Sisala people. You know, in Sisala, they produce huge maize in this country. Is it not surprising that today we are implementing Nkokon Kitin, yet they don't have buyers of the maize that they have harvested this year or last year? Again, the reason is simple. The government has given a lot of licenses to people to import maize, the highest in a decade that they had done. So definitely, ours is more expensive than the ones they have imported because the cedi is strong. Your import becomes cheaper and your export becomes very, very expensive. And your produce within the country also becomes expensive.
Okay, all right.
So that is the price to pay for a stronger cedi.
Okay.
When you
that'll be all for this morning. Matthias, you want to say anything real quick?
Artificially.
You have 1 minute for me. I'm supposed to
I'm sure certainly Avisotoji would have wanted to.
Oh yes,
say that.
I'd have loved to listen from her.
Exactly. She would have talked.
The fishermen and their
she'll be talking.
Allow
the fishermen and their security.
So for the fishermen and the security, we just want to commend the Ghana Navy.
What did they do?
No, I don't have time for that. If you want to do any message.
Yeah. Sure. So to the good people of the Volta region, certainly Avisotoji would have been talking about the road projects that are ongoing. You would have been talking about the Jumara, the NAP, everything that is taking place.
Thanks to Akufo-Addo.
This young man was.
A big thank you to Franco Trading Enterprise, still post Papa Papi. A big thank you to Kuala Chafridges. Thanks to Matthias for coming. Thanks to Awan Ahmed for coming. Now we're crossing over. We're crossing over to Safari Valley. I've got Esiedua, I've got Kojo, I've got Tobuating, I've got Winston. Okay, so Kojo and Winston are in Safari Valley as we speak, and they are, exploring the place. They want to share all of that with us here on the show. So let's cross over to that place right now.
Newsflash was brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Still, fun papa fie.